BAMN makes enemies with Migrant Caravan. Antifa group tries to get the caravan to storm the border, but just makes them angry. Oh, folks, this is going to be a funny one. It's funny because it's true. Folks, after you watch this video, you're going to want to watch our other video about this called Is BAMN Embezzling Donations for Caravan Members? Yeah, scroll down, see the first link below to see that video. Alright, let's move on.
We need to make sure that we have more mass protests, more militant protests that are mass and militant. Mass and militant. Mass and militant. Mass and militant. Mass and militant.
Militant, integrated, direct action. Militant mass direct action. Militant, integrated, direct action. Militant mass direct action.
Ladies and gentlemen, cross-border legal services for deportees, refugees, and families separated by deportation in Los Angeles and Tijuana, this group, Al Otro Lado, is not very happy with Yvette Falarca's group, BAMN. You know, the Antifa-type group, or, you know, Antifa by a different name. They're talking about BAMN here, folks, when they tweeted at 10:14 p.m. November 30th, hard to believe that an organization that claims to be pro-migrant would do something so incredibly damaging to the people they claim to serve. Now, what are they talking about here, folks? Well, that's the topic of this video. Let's go back to the beginning and we'll come to this. Oh, goodness. Communist group fails to convince migrants to march to U.S. border. BAMN. By any means necessary. By any means necessary, you know, the whole Yvette Falarca group. Communist group fails to convince migrants to march to the U.S. border by Charlotte Cuthbertson, I guess. December 1st, 2018. Updated December 3rd. Tijuana, Mexico. Meaning she's writing from Tijuana, Mexico. California-based communist group by any means necessary has failed in its attempt to rally migrants in Tijuana to march to the U.S. border. I just see little Yvette Falarca just like, come on, comrades, for communism. And they're probably like, no, I say, fuck you, socialism. No, come on, we're freedom fighters. No, we just want to get into the USA, man. Anyway, they failed, it didn't mention Falarca, has failed in its attempt to rally migrants in Tijuana to march to the U.S. border. In a tweet posted by BAMN on November 29th, the group called for immigrants to march at 11 a.m. on December 1st, the inauguration day of Mexico's new president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador. If I'm saying that correctly, which I'm sure I'm not. Quote unquote, open borders or we'll shut it down, the tweet reads. We're going to shut it down. What? The border? I think Trump already did that. Okay. Spanish language flyers from BAMN were distributed to migrants in Tijuana after a failed rush at the border on November 25th. The flyers are a rallying cry for the migrants to stick together until their goals are achieved, including the message, Trump must go or be removed by any means necessary. They love throwing their catchline in. It also demands, quote unquote, everyone must be let in. Yeah, totally. Open borders. That's a smart idea. Sure. BAMN describes itself as a... Yeah, this is the official name for BAMN. BAMN is just this shorthand, but it's really the Coalition to Defend Affirmative Action, Integration, and Immigrant Rights and Fight for Equality by Any Means Necessary. Trevor Loudon, I guess, an expert on communism and a contributor to the Epoch Times, says BAMN is hardcore. It's hardcore, dude. I don't know. I mean, if you think hardcore means like taking your sign and pressing up against somebody and getting in their face and just sort of maybe sometimes kicking their shins or something like that, yeah, I guess they're hardcore. I don't know. Quote, "It's a very violent organization," unquote, he said, adding that the group led the rioting in Berkeley, California when conservative Milo Yiannopoulos was blocked from speaking on campus in early February 2017. Quote, "They're an Antifa-type organization, and they have explicitly called President Trump a fascist. So, by BAMN's logic, if you have a fascist in government, any means are legitimate to get rid of that fascist, quote-unquote fascist. And that includes violence, that includes propaganda, and that includes lying to the American public," unquote. They're not just an Antifa-like organization. Some of the members of BAMN they dress up in a black bloc, and then they'll put on their, BAMN t-shirts, and, they go back and forth. It's the same kind of people for the most part. These groups bleed into each other. The article continues, "Other groups working with the Migrant Caravan were quick to distance themselves from BAMN. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe because they're raving lunatics? Little ankle biters and shin kickers?" Pueblos Sin Fronteras, People Without Borders, an open border group that has helped several caravans from Central America travel to the U.S. border, has said it has urged migrants not to march on December 1st. Quote, "They are trying to have the police beating the migrants, and they are willing to put their bodies in front to push this supposed march," unquote, Pueblos Sin Fronteras director Ireneo Mujica said on December 1st. Quote, "They want chaos. They want people to be hit. They want to hurt the movement and the migrants and to send a message against whatever government it is," unquote. It's partially right. They want the chaos. They do want people to get hit. They do want people to get hurt. But it's not to hurt the migrant thing. They want to undermine the United States of America, you see. An NGO that has been helping coach migrants about U.S. asylum laws also lashed out at BAMN in a series of tweets on November 30th. I did not know that. Quote, "BAMN is agitating the caravan to march on the border. They are not on the ground and not working with the caravan organizers," unquote, the NGO Al Otro, Lado, to the other side, wrote on Twitter. Take a look here. Okay, you could see Al Otro Lado describes themselves as cross-border legal services. Hashtag deportees, hashtag refugees and families separated by deportation, and hashtag Los Angeles and Tijuana. Donate or volunteer. And they tweeted at 1:03 p.m. November 30th, "BAMN is agitating the caravan to march on the border. They are not on the ground and not working with the caravan organizers. At the same time, law enforcement is emptying the San Diego jails and telling the courts to anticipate 200 to 300 prosecutions per day." Set up. Emptying the San Diego jails? I don't know about that. At 1:04, they tweeted, "When we tried calling their office, they answered and they hung up when we explained who we were. They haven't picked up any subsequent calls." At 1:05 p.m., we repeat, BAMN is not on the ground in Tijuana and is not working with any nonprofits, organizers, or the caravan members themselves. Yet, the U.S. government is preparing for an invasion and mass prosecutions. What is going on here? At 1:16 p.m., they tweeted, "In a decade plus of immigrant rights organizing on the borders and in LA, we have never had any interaction with BAMN. They don't have any individuals or real contact information on their website. Smells like the government trying to stir shit up." So they are thinking that BAMN is sort of a fake organization or something like that. At 1:34 p.m., they tweeted, "Update, just spoke with one of the BAMN organizers who seemed unaware of conditions on the ground. Refused to give his last name. had no real answers as to who they were working with and lied about having contacted our colleagues. Said planned mass prosecutions were good. So then they tweeted at 1:44 p.m. either BAMN has a government mole or they are the US government, because the government knew way more about their planned march than the Caravan. Alright, interesting. Then we have 2:10 p.m. update. Benito Juarez camp is slowly emptying out. Government has turned off water and electricity. BAMN operatives are there, encouraging people to march. Meanwhile, soldiers are posting up on the U.S. side of the river. Interesting. What do you make of this, folks? Is it possible that BAMN either is some sort of government puppet group or has been infiltrated by the government?
I seriously doubt it. The closest government ties they have are to the general ring of lower levels.
You mean like the mayor of Berkeley?
The mayor of Berkeley, chairman,
Al Rojas,
some other asshole.
Chris something.
Yeah. So that's pretty much their political pull right there. But as far as the larger government knowing much about them, they'd happily use them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it possible?
Happily use Yvette Falarca and the band of fucking dodo brains that she has accumulated.
Right.
But honestly, I'm gonna say, because the bitch is a psychotic virtue signaler, she probably wants to incite a march and a forced rush for the border.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like something they would do.
And then all those that successfully cross, she
Right.
wants to most likely indoctrinate her shit to get a bigger army.
Right. If you folks don't know, the BAMN people, they operate like a cult, it seems. At 10:12 p.m., Al Otrolado tweets out, "So it turns out this isn't a government op. Many people have let us know that it's BAMN's MO, their modus operandi, to co-op movements." Failed to consult with affected groups and engage in reactionary violence with no regard for who suffers the consequences. Oh my goodness. It's like you said, Tabby.
Yeah. They're just there because they think they're stupid. That's it.
Yeah.
If they come and talk to you on the street, it's because they've profiled you and they think you are a moron. And then they will start preaching to you.
Then they tweet at 10:14 p.m. Hard to believe that an organization that claims to be pro-migrant would do something so incredibly damaging to the people they claim to serve. Well, that's par for the course with BAMN.
No, like I said, it's just about being cannon fodder for them. They don't care if you lose your career. They don't care if you get kicked out of college.
I almost forgot to open and read this, the BAMN statement on the Caravan. At Adam BAMN. Okay. Let's look at this. Adam Lerman, at Adam BAMN. So apparently, I guess, this is a BAMN person. Adam Lerman. You know, unless he's faking it. Well, I have no reason to think that he is, I guess. Okay, let's have a look here. Adam Lerman, at Adam BAMN. BAMN statement on the Caravan. Our freedom march is almost over. Our goal of freedom is within sight and we must march in order to achieve it. Mexicans and Americans stand with us. Asylum for all. Let the caravans in. No child separation, no detention, no deportations. How about stopping, the trafficking of children across the border? According to you people, just let it happen. Shut down migration and concentration camps. No to the remain in Mexico policy. Mexico must demand that U.S. accept asylum seekers now. The Mexican government should not do Trump's dirty work. No concentration camps at the Mexican border. Trump must go or be removed by any means necessary. By the way, this tweet is from 5 p.m. November 25th from Los Angeles. Let's have a quick look here. We can't read it all because there's 3 pages of very small type, but it begins, our freedom march is almost over. Our goal of freedom is within sight, and we must march on in order to achieve it. The arrival of the migrant caravan at the Mexico-U.S. border has proven once again that the tactic of the caravan is our best strategy for safe... Wait a minute. We saw what happened with the first caravan. Was that success? Wait, how is somebody that stupid able to write? Holy shit. Wow. Oh goodness. Holy shit. Okay, where was I? speechless at the stupidity. It's their best strategy at safely marching. Although we have not reached the border without suffering the roughness of the trip. Oh, they make it seem like they're part of the caravan. These are middle-class suburbanites for the most part, except for maybe the guy that is sort of the head out there in Chicago, who seems to be from, I guess, Mexico? Okay, Tabby says from Mexico. I forget his name. Hold on a second here. Jose Luis something. I forget his Avaringa. They're not part of this caravan at all. Okay, they're trying to co-opt, just like Tabby says. They try to co-opt some other people's movements. Well, not just Tabby said that, but this NGO said it too. They said it as well. It's funny that, you know, people on opposite ends on the issue of immigration do agree that BAMN sucks. Oh goodness. Okay, where were we? Although we've not reached the border without suffering roughness of the trip, some of us suffering it more than others. Yeah, you mean like the ones that are there, that are actually in the caravan, suffer more than those who are in some suburban California town teaching school children? Getting summers off? It's okay. Yvette Flarka has a trial looming over her. She can only put it off for so long. Okay, it continues. United, we have almost reached our goal of crossing the U.S. and have set the example for thousands of our brothers and sisters that are now making their way. Holy shit. I just can't keep reading. I mean, look, this video is going to be too long, but folks, I'll leave you a link to this because there's probably more funny in here. There's a lot more funny to be had in this.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
What?
What's really fucking hilarious?
Yes.
Is that she's the fucking BAM movement. These people are so stupid that they don't realize the real atrocity was convincing thousands of people from South America to hoof it all the way to California and telling them that would be easy access and then sanctuary.
Yeah, because some of them seem to believe that.
That's why they went to that part of fucking America instead of going straight up to, what is it, Brownsville, I think it is, which basically has no border, by the way.
Right, but they went to San Diego area, right?
Yeah, they went there because that's a sanctuary city.
Right.
Meaning the Border Patrol are not going to round you up immediately and kick your ass out. Right now they are, because you fucking did it invasion style. But you want to know what's really funny? All the Democrats, the fucking psychotic Europeans, and the loony leftists that helped fucking foot the bill for this goddamn caravan,
right,
left them there to starve to death.
Yeah.
Literally, people are starving right now in the streets, drinking rancid water that is probably going to kill them. Okay? That's what this has done. And all that fucking BAM is doing right now is trying to monopolize on the weak.
Yep. Do you know that, by the way, Ty Decker is in Tijuana right now walking around just live streaming the conditions?
Yeah,
and
you know, he helped bitch slap one of the fucking bullshit California
Oh, he was
lawyers.
on that video?
Yeah, he was wearing CNN is fake news, and this fucking bitch walks over and starts yelling at everybody.
So you have a problem,
including
you're upset
Tijuana
that we're out
national
here.
who's actually out there helping a family of four.
I am with you. CNN is fake news.
All right? Because she can't stand to watch them starve to death.
Right.
Okay?
So why does the National Lawyers Guild protect groups like
that's how little
Antifa,
Tijuana
Miami is
actually goddamn
necessary?
has.
All the
Okay?
anti-American
Thousands of people
leftists
dumped
groups.
into Tijuana and left there to fucking die
protect
because
them.
the
You
original
protect
plan didn't
Antifa.
go
We
down
do
as
not
fucking
Oh, you
know
do.
who they
thought
are.
out.
We are not associated
They figured
with
we'd just
them.
get them all there and they all
That's
bum
right.
rush
You
right
are.
now.
You are.
Amber
No, we
from
are
Media
not.
Outlet Frontline America. Ty Decker also has a
No.
YouTube channel as well. Will Johnson as well. Frontline America, I think, is only on Facebook.
Okay, then why did you approach us?
Maybe it's his
Then
own
why did you
website,
approach
so
us?
I
I need
can
to know. These
find
people
links
have
for him,
help
put in
and you're
the
not giving it to
description.
them.
But
Whoever the
you can
organizers
subscribe
are.
to both Ty
They're
and Will
starving.
Johnson on
Yes, I
YouTube.
know
So
that.
again, folks, I'll
Yeah,
leave
but they
you
need
a
help.
link
They
to
need
this and
today.
everything else
They
that I
can't wait 10
can.
days. Stop yelling. You started yelling. They need help. These people are starving and they need our help. Hey, can you please calm down for a second?
Yeah, then why did you approach us?
Me as far as what I'm doing here.
She's out here
Ask her
trying
what
to
I'm
help
doing
them,
here.
and you
I've been
come
trying
up
to
and
help
act
them for the past 3 days.
because my shirt.
You started accusing me. CNN is fake news. You started accusing me. CNN is fake news.
The National Lawyers Guild does. They do. Maybe you don't, but they do. And you coming up and approaching me and with saying, what am I doing out here when we're trying to help this family and their children?
We're trying to get them
Shame
a home
on you.
today. What are you doing for them? We're trying to get them a home. What are you doing for them?
It's being distributed to all the migrants, but a core of migrants considered the most aggressive and some paid as provocateurs, our sources say, are planning to rush the border and force the Border Patrol reaction, as happened last Sunday, i.e., which resulted in tear gas and rubber bullets, which came under condemnation of much of the world, although Border Patrol agents said they were being hit with rocks and bottles. The organizer of the march is affiliated with a website called BAMN, which stands for By Any Means Necessary. They are known as advocates of the migrants and are set on embarrassing the new Mexican president upon his inauguration tomorrow. Now, this is what the flyer says, and this is important. We must march to the border on Saturday, December the 1st, the day of the inauguration of the new president of Mexico, Manuel Lopez Obrador. Open the border or we close it. I'm going to say that again. Open the border or we close it. That's pretty strong vernacular. Everyone has to be allowed in. Our last action brought us closer to victory. Mexicans and Americans fight together with us. So once again, this storming of the border is scheduled to happen tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and you can bet the world will be watching. Now, on the whole notion of shutting the border down, back here live.
John, it seems like this is coming together all pretty rapidly. Obviously, the first question that comes to mind, are any of these migrants being paid to do this? And if so, where is that money coming from?
Well, we don't know. There's speculation on the internet says perhaps it's George Soros, but people have raised the question. In getting here, walking thousands of miles, somebody had to feed them, somebody had to provide them with water. So I don't know. But the word is for tomorrow. These are some paid provocateurs who could be part of this. So it's going to be a tense day tomorrow.
Yeah, worth looking into where this money is coming from for sure to trace it back. All right, John, thank you.
Well, I don't pretend to have the answer to their question, folks, but there is this from the Wall Street Journal opinion by George Soros himself, 2016, why I'm investing $500 million in migrants. And I will put a link in the description below, and yes, you do have to subscribe to read the whole thing, but fear not. There's also the same exact thing on GeorgeSoros.com. The entire thing. You don't have to subscribe to anything to read that. I'll give you comments below. Wow, folks. So anyway, I'm not saying that George Soros funded this stuff, but I am saying he's funding migrants. I mean, at least he claims to. So anyway, what do you think about all this, folks? Leave us a comment below. Till next time, give me liberty or give me death.